Last 1 week, the Nifty was almost flat, right? Around 1% movement, while things look very simple. But if you really look at the commodity places, about last night, I think $10 trillion erosion in gold and silver value overall, right? So a lot of things happen in the commodity market. So let's get started. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, in the weekly episode, weekly market moves, we typically cover all the things which happen, what has been happening in the last 1 week. For this week, we're covering from 26th January to 30th January. So starting with the different sectoral indices, Nifty and most of them have been like a very like 1% upward movement, right? Even though last week was typically a week before the budget, so no such excitement or no such anticipation of any news from the budget itself as of now. The market is not pricing anything right now, while it's hoping that STT and LTCG are decreased. Uh, Now, in terms of the sectoral indices, I think two indices, a lot of movement was there. One was the Nifty Metal. Nifty Metal was extremely volatile. It was typically up by 2 to 3% each and every day from Tuesday to Thursday, while on Friday it really collapsed around 7 to 8%. So taking all the gains away. The sector which also declined like last week from to this week was the Nifty Realty Index, typically going down more than 10%. The reason is probably because since COVID, there has been so much of buying of houses and real estate. We are seeing for the first time in 6 years decrease in pre-sales number. तो सेल्स जो होता है कि मतलब रियल एस्टेट में अभी जो रूल है कि अनटिल अनलेस लोगों के पास पोजीशन नहीं मिल जाता है तब तक वो सेल्स पे नहीं आते हैं ना. So real estate typically looking at pre-sales number. So overall, for most companies, it's been quite soft. Although Prestige Estate had a good result, but mostly overall sectorally this sector is typically numbers are peaking out, and since it's a very high beta sector, like highly volatile sector, so ऐसे ही मतलब जब थोड़ा सा भी खराब नहीं होता तो ऐसे ही पूरा सेक्टर ही क्रैश कर जाता है. That's on the overall sectoral indices for the week. Now let's start with the earnings seasons for the rest of the quarter. Starting with the results for this week, starting with the FMCG index, we had three major companies' results coming out: Tata Consumer Products, Nestle, and Asian Paints. For Asian Paints, again, a lot of not so good results. I think due to higher labor cost, the PAT was I think very muted or down. Overall market, I think the belief was that Asian Paints is able to triumph build opus, but I think we are very far from that. I think right now the paints market is just a fighting of the firms, right? So there is no winner. It's like something like what happened to telecom sector 10 years back when Jio came in. For the first 4 years, I think nobody made money. Everybody had losses, but post that, when all the other players went out, Airtel became multi-bagger, right? Airtel was once 275, around 219, and today it's around more than 2,000 rupees. So almost a 8 to 9 bagger in almost 6 years, and nobody talks about it because currently Airtel I think the third largest firm in India. Anyway, moving on. So overall, but the other two firms for Tata Consumer Products and Nestle, the overall theme is that the overall margin is sort of coming up. So we see both revenue growth and a lot of profit growth also. So this is a very like this is a trend we checked out, that the FMCG companies are having a very bad like years after years, right? The result has been very good since 2022. Post-COVID recovery, the result has been very poor, right? But this quarter onwards, we see some improvement in margins. Similarly, I think ITS also came out with the results. The revenue grew by 6% and PAT went down by 5%. But again, nothing really great there. While ITC has been beaten down a lot due to the NCCD tax. Like basically क्या हो रहा है कि गवर्नमेंट के पास अभी टैक्सेशन बहुत कम हो चुका है, राइट? GST कट हुआ है, इनकम टैक्स कट हुआ है. So then the only place you can increase the tax is the tobacco, right? So इसीलिए things are very depressed in ITC. But what I would check for ITC in the next quarter is that even if they're able to maintain the profit, even if there is no decrease in the profit growth, then I think at the current price ITC looks good. But again, we really need to wait for the next quarter, right? Rather than just buying it out to because it's currently at PE of 20 at rupees 320. So I would rather wait for this quarter results to come out, see that there is no substantial decrease in profit, then ITC can be interesting bet, a very valuation driven bet, right? Moving on from FMCG, the next sector is bank. And just like IT sector I spoke about last week, I think banks में एक जो theme है कि तो small जो niche banks है ना, जो niche financial players है, उसमें the earnings are improving a lot. We see from Capri Global and all the other northern arc and all of these things. The overall the revenue and profit growth is doing a lot. But for the bigger banks, be it Axis Bank, Kotak Bank, the numbers are not so good, right? Although Axis Bank के लिए अच्छा था, फिर भी market has reacted positively, but for the other places, the numbers are very poor. Be it Kotak Bank, HDFC Bank, or SBI. So overall, I think this trend of microfinance is coming back. So in इधर जो भी जितने भी firms है ना, तो वो उनको वो कभी grow करने का time आ सकता है, right? So overall, this is also a space in which for banks also again अभी जो बोल रहे हैं मतलब there is no broader level growth, but जो specific smaller pockets हैं, right? In the banking sector, so उनमें बहुत growth का opportunities हैं, and I think we should be a value picker in that, like very niche categories to come back. That two to three other companies, I think results I should mention. One is that the last company to come out with results from the AMC business is Nippon India, and we see that the revenue growth is 20%, but the PAT growth is 37%. Now, typically, whenever this happens, that the profit is growing disproportionately from the revenue, it's only because something is operating leverage kicking in, which basically means that कि आपको जो incremental revenue जो आ रहा है उसके लिए ऐसा कुछ खर्चा नहीं होता है ना. तो आप सोच सकते हो कि फंड मैनेजर जो है ना, वो तो फंड कंपनी है, वो तो उतना ही फंड मैनेजर रखेगा ना. वो तो फंड मैनेजर जस्ट बिकॉज यू आर गेटिंग मोर मनी डज नॉट मीन दैट दे इन्वेस्ट टिपिकली लाइक एट इंक्रीमेंटल लेवल दे वोंट गेट मोर फंड मैनेजर्स, राइट? So इसीलिए typically we can easily track the improvement in operating leverage overall by looking into whether the cost income ratio is decreasing or not as income is increasing. So for the last quarter, Nippon India के लिए cost income ratio था 36%. अभी वो हो चुके हैं 35%. The best number in the industry is of HDFC AMC, right? So it is less than 30%. So a lot of scope is there for Nippon India AMC to further increase the operating leverage. And I think I would say from the AMC industry, there are two groups. One is the bigger groups of ICICI, HDFC, and Nippon, and the rest others. And the interesting trend is that the big is getting bigger. So yeah, I think that's a very interesting trend for the water industry. The next company is something very interesting and something which has been beaten down a lot for the last 6 months is IEX. We see, I think, revenue growth of very low, around 11 to 12%, and PAT is also 11 to 12%. So this shows that even though the coupling fear has come about a lot, but we still haven't really seen any significant changes in revenue or profit. So the currently like the case is ongoing, but I think for an exchange to be there at 25 PE, even if the revenue and profit goes just 12%, but which is a long headroom, I think surely looks a reason to look into the company a bit more. That's it for this week. If you have liked the content, please do like, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, do comment and interact with us. And I will look forward to you again next week. Thank you so much.